Here we go. Good morning. Monday morning, week before I head out on the long trail, and I am doing a shakedown hike to pack Monadnock with my dog Georgia. Since it's Monday, we might not see a lot of people here, but we're going to test out the pack. Got most of my gear in there except for like food. So we'll see how it does. We'll dry today. Well, the one thing I gotta check out with my phone, as you can probably see in the screen, is I don't know why it's giving me like I'm videoing through a piece of glass. I don't know why it's doing that. So I'll have to figure that out later. My pack currently is just around 9 pounds. A few more items to put in it, but I'm gonna double that when I put my food in, because my food is about the same, almost exactly the same. So we're probably looking with water, maybe 22 pounds total pack weight. So that's not terrible. I'll be carrying 5 days worth of food, so that's good to keep it as light as possible. Water crossing at the beginning here, and up we go. Rocks and roots, welcome to New Hampshire. Up we go. There you go. First vertical of the day. Going over that way. Whoa! Hokas don't let me down. These are the things you do to make a video. Not as easy as people think. All right. Warming it up. Legs are starting to feel it. Mix of sun and clouds today. Chance of some intermittent rain. It's all good. Here you go. It's that season. Favorite snack on the trail. Ain't that right? Sugaries. Another big up. A lane showing going to the left. It doesn't seem to have that glare. The phone pointing outward. It seems to have that glare in selfie mode. So I have to figure that one out. All right, the ups keep coming. Little stone wall. Makes me wonder, why would somebody put a stone wall up here? Okay, now I'm gonna give you a little lesson. Stone walls. You see the rocks? They're all big rocks. Whoever uses this land, use it for a pasture. If you see little rocks mixed in, that means they used it for farming. And now you know. Upsy daisy. A little bit moist. So we want to be a little bit on the careful side. Somebody use some of those tree branches for railings. Upwards. I love these little fir trees here. They look like little Christmas trees. Here's another lesson taught to me by my sister-in-law. You know how you can tell this is a fir tree? Because fir starts with F, and F means flat. And you look at the leaves with the needles. The needles are flat. It's a fir tree. F as in fir. And now you've been educated twice today. You're welcome. So this trail, this is the Wapak Trail. We'll take you all the way up there. The northern terminus trail has everything you need for training for any type of hike. It's got rocks, roots, boardwalks, muddy sections, elevation gains, steepness, butt sliding, you name it. Currently, a little moisture, a little damp. I did bring rain gear. Unfortunately, she has none at the moment. But I did bring an umbrella. Like I said, it's supposed to be intermittent. Worst case scenario, hunker down under the umbrella. And that's also part of your training. Embrace the suck. That's where we came. Mountain Road. Man, right now it reminds me of when I did Franconia Ridge. It was like 70-mile-an-hour winds. Not quite that bad. You getting some water? Good girl. Not quite that bad. I see the cairn, which I believe indicates we've made it to Little Pack, Monadnock. So if we decide to, we could turn around here. But look at that stuff come over. Yeah, we might get a view later. Yep, there we go. We're heading in that direction. Here's a cairn. In case you're caring about the cairn. Elevation. No views. You could normally see Pac Monadnock that way. Cliff trail, I don't think I'll take today. It's just a last minute shakedown. Sometimes I take that on the way back. I did the last time. My poor wife was beaten to death on that trail. And my former boss, I took her up here. I think it was the first big hike. That poor woman was dying. So there's where we're going. This way. You gotta go down before you go up. We're going into a little notch. Since we're in New Hampshire, it's a notch. It's not a gap. I don't even actually know if there's any name for it. But it's going down before we go up. Some erosion in here. Some days gone by. It's a little bit moist going down this hill currently, so I'll show you a little bit of it. You can see the slickeration, so you got to pick your line, almost like mountain biking, and just go for it. So I'm going to try over here, see what happens. I want to land on that. See, I'm carrying this tripod with my phone attached to video, and I have this for the electric dog collar, just to keep her close. She doesn't go terribly far. And I know some people will give me grief, you're supposed to have them leashed. She's a hiking dog. So, watch, I'll hit the beeper. Here she comes. Good girl. Yeah, she's a hiking dog. I mean, I'll beep her, and I got a leash for her if I see somebody, especially at the top. But out here, no, she's free. If somebody gives me grief, I'll say, that's mighty racist of you. And they say, why? And I'll say, well, it's 2025, and she identifies as a black woman. So if you like to put a leash around the neck of a black woman, you're racist. There you go. Problem solved. Reminds me a little bit of 100-mile wilderness in Maine. There's a section just like this. Oh! Taking my mountain bike down this would definitely be challenging. Here you go. And I bet you this is a continuation of that same wall we saw earlier. Okay, class. What was this wall used for? That's right. Cattle. Most likely cows or sheep. But man, I'm always amazed when I see these things out in the middle of the woods. You know, they were put here like 200 years ago. As where men were men, and not afraid to admit it. So far, this part of the trail has been pretty cruisy, as the young'uns say. Cruisy. Pretty flat up here. And of course, you know, since I through hike the AT, I always look at spots like, yeah, I can put a tent there. So I'll be doing that on the long trail. I understand that the long trail portion that doesn't connect with the AT has some really nice shelters. So, some people don't even bring a tent. I'm really questioning whether to bring a tent. I'm not a shelter person. I like my tent and the fact that I don't have to deal with other people and bugs, but I'm pretty sure probably won't be a whole heck of a lot of people until you get to the AT portion of it. I'm actually hoping to run into Energizer and his son Duracell, who are on the AT now. Last I checked, they were in New York. So it's very possible, if I keep my pace up, I need to get it's 172 miles, I think, to get to the Rutland. I think it's where it starts. It blends in Rutland, so I'm hoping to catch up to him. I did meet him in Damascus, Virginia during trail days. So I've been following him. He did a CDT last year. He's a Triple Crowner. He's my age, retired military. I decided to do the AT again this year with a lot of other people I know on it because of they want to support the hurricane ravaged communities. And I was tempted to do a Sobo, but I'm not retiring till this Sunday. And I don't know if I want to start this late in the season. Cliff's got a trail and it goes that way. Look at that. Getting closer. I love the pine needles on the feet. This is another test of my foot. I had plantar fasciitis surgery last October and it's still tender. Of course, I went back to work after a month because I'm stubborn. I have it taped with K-tape. I've been hiking with plantar fasciitis since, I guess, 2018. I got it in the 100-mile wilderness, my first backpacking trip, and I kept trying to keep up with my buddy, and I think, I didn't realize the hike your own hike, agenda, I guess you can call it, where you just meet up at the end of the day somewhere. That way you can keep your own pace. You're not trying to beat yourself up. So I'm taped up with that, but I'm stubborn. So if I got my mind set on doing something, I will absorb the pain and use it against my enemies. Is that the old saying? So with the long trail, it's not like the AT. The AT for me was pass fail. There was no in between. I had to get it done. This I don't. I'm in the neighboring state. I'm trying to do it under 20 days. My wife's going to meet me on Saturdays, wherever we can. We got Life 360, so we can see each other and all that. So we're coordinating that. Truck's all set up for sleeping in. She'll have my resupply. But on the 26th of August, I fly out to British Columbia. Actually flying to Seattle, then taking a seaplane into Victoria, where the friends we met after our Alaskan cruise in May, he said, "Hey, Popeye, why don't you come do the West Coast Trail?" So I said, challenge accepted. So this is the long trail is my training for that, even though it's only a 55-mile hike. If you Google it and look at some of the videos, there's 100 ladders you gotta climb in that span. You gotta time your hike to the tides. There's rocks, roots, ankle-sucking bogs, where I see a lot of the locals, they wear knee-high gaiters. I'm not doing that. So even though it's a short hike, there's a lot of challenges. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like an obstacle course. So I told this guy who created the West Coast Trail app, we're chatting back and forth, that maybe I'll be an ambassador for the Appalachian Trail and get some new thru hikers to come over. And then I might see him again in late July, early August, because my wife and I do trail magic up in Orford, New Hampshire. So that'd be cool. I have seen people I met before on the Appalachian Trail. I saw a guy last year. I met him in the Smokies in 2022, and he had a broken trekking pole. And I'm feeding him a burger, and I go, "I know you, don't I?" I said, "You had a broken trekking pole in the Smokies, didn't you?" He goes, "Yep." I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I started again, I'm doing the whole thing." And he was a big guy. So, to all the big bone people out there, don't think you can't do this. The majority of the battle is in your mind. Doing something like the Appalachian Trail, where you got day after day of looking like this, the green tunnel, and you just can't wait to see people. But I do love the pine needles. They are good on the old feet. We're getting ready to go up shortly. Now, I think when I slipped going up, not down, did a little face plant. And of course, you know, I have this in my right hand. In my left hand, I have a buzzer. And before I hit the ground, I toss the buzzer. So, no harm, no foul. And Georgia came by, make sure it was okay. Onward we go. Sweet. I can see, you can't see it through the woods, but kind of hard to see, but you can see the peak. So we're just about at that point. We'll be starting heading up soon. So we're doing the up now. Get a little rocky and rooty. Did just pass a hiker going the other direction, so we do a leash out. We'll be having a leasher up shortly. Eating grass again. She thinks she's a cow. He did say it's a little slick. You can see it. Good old New Hampshire. Live free or pay a toll. Yeah, I get it. They charge the cars and stuff to come in because they're usually loaded with people. But really, someone that's hiking up, you're gonna charge them. Last time I came up here, the wife and Georgia, we just went to the first landing where you can sit. It's about a quarter mile past that to go to the top where the cell towers are and the little kiosk where they sell stuff. But I did go there the previous hike, and we went all the way up. Nobody asked. So we get a lot of this as we make our way to the top. No views. It's a little foggy out. We made it to the first part of the top. So I did bring my wallet. So it tells you you can pause that to see what you're looking for. We'll sit up at the table for a second before going in. No views at the moment. Alrighty. Can't see much around here. I guess I'll go this way. 3.8 miles in under 2 hours. So Not bad for an old man. A lot of uphill. I'm not saying the downhill is going to be any quicker, especially if it's damp, but not bad. A little foggy out. Forcing her to relax. Now we're going to make the 0.4 over up to the towers and the official top part of it, and see if the kiosk is open. Maybe get something to eat and drink, even though I brought stuff. See if they charge us, and then head back. This is more like the CDT and the PCT I hear, because those trails are made for man and horse. Oh, this would be heaven. You could hike this all day. Look at that little stone picnic area. There we go. They say that's a quarter mile. There's no way that's a quarter mile. Not much of a view, but that's it. Some views. All right, cleared up a little bit more. Let's go right there. Leave right out into the right there. Is the cliff from Cliff Trail. I'm not going to take that. I've already done that enough times. So the store doesn't open till 10, so we're going to head back. 3.8 to go. And we're back. Let's go up here for a second. Get to some views. There you go. We're heading in that direction. I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, maybe that's Crotched Mountain, Francistown, I'm not sure. But we're definitely heading that direction, because I think that's the cliffs on the right. Can't see Monadnock or anything like that, it's too shrouded. We'll just make our way back down trail. We'll see if we see anybody coming up. There was only one guy, so you never know. It's a Monday, so most of the hikers are probably gone. It'd probably be like local trail runners or hikers that we may end up seeing, or we might just see the one guy. Maybe we'll get a view from Little Pack Monadnock when we get to it. Gnarly old tree. Now, up this way, Joan Bass Bross Memorial Scenic Outlook. Let's go scenic on the outlook. Christmas decoration. There you go. Not a bad little view there. There's a little memorial. Jill and Bass Bros, 1915-2000, Georgia, 2022. To walk in these woods with you was to know no ordinary moment. How cool is that? Have a little memorial made for you. Maybe I'll have to look up the history of her. Back on trail. Pine needles. Okay, class. You see any good spots to put your tent? Around pine needles would be awesome to camp. The only problem is because they're pines, a lot of chances for widowmakers. It's such a soft wood. But you find a good spot. Look how kind of flat it is. It's never really flat, but you can find a nice decent spot, move some branches around and just put them all back when you're done, which is what I do. I don't want anybody to see me and nobody know I've been there. Leave no trace. Alrighty, downhill. It's a bit of an uphill. You see her up there? She's trying to be stealth. No problem if you get 4 legs. And the rock. And those are roots. And that's what? Fir tree. Beauty out here. Look at it. What is that? Whew. Scratching her fleas. Must make she doesn't have fleas. We'll check her for ticks after. I did spray her down. She doesn't like it, but the deer fly are relentless this time of year, so I'd rather spray some bug juice on her than have her get eaten alive. She does manage to catch a few, so that's a little extra protein for her. Oh, look at that, there's a nice little possible spot. Yep, always scoping it out. You can't camp here though, which is a shame. You know, you got these nice mountains and stuff, but you can't camp it. You know why. All you have to do is go hike in the Smokies and see why. Because of humans. That's a nice section right here. Oh my gosh. This way you can pick up the pace a little bit. at the top of a little pack. Not much views. There we go. There's where it came from. See the towers up there. I wish it would focus better. But here's what it is. Right? So we are now at the halfway, what I call the halfway point. I'm going to take an actual break here. For those who watched my gear video, I did some of my own customization. This Y strap, it had like a C-clip, and I noticed that if you didn't have this pack cinched down tight, that C-clip would come out. So this was easy enough to unsew this and put this clip in. So if I put my tent or something up there, I can cinch it down. And then these clips had it so you would roll it and then clip them together. And I didn't like that. I wanted to clip it down like this. So I sewed that in, put these clips in, and then I seam sealed it. That's why it's a little bit darker, so I could keep it water resistant. So that was it. So now it cinches down real tight, compact. All is good. You having a good hike? No? Well, according to my calculations, we have 1.2 miles left. Boy, this is a nice downhill. And when I looked at retracing my steps on Relive app, it sure looks longer than that. Because it should be, if I'm doing the math right, 7.6 total. And it said we had done 6.4. So that'd be 1.2, unless I'm doing some fuzzy math. And I'm not a math person, but boy, this is nice here. Can't tell me nobody's south camp right there before. Like, who's gonna come and check on you? Yeah, little rocky section here. You can hear me just skid out there. Yeah. Why's that idiot filming? You should be concentrating. Just want to give you a view of what I meant by this is a good trail for training purposes. Got a little bit of everything. So peaceful out here, though. Haven't seen any critters. She sniffs around, so I'm sure she can smell something, but they're staying well away. I'm not really worried about that. Heck, in like a month or so, it'll be hunting season. That, my friends, is a steep downhill. It's good for burning the legs when you're going up, but going down, you want to make sure. I know, I'm filming. Oh, check that out. A bit of a view. So I just had a mental mistake. I forgot to unpause my Relive app until just now. So from the time I took the break to now, it's probably going to show a straight line, which is definitely going to affect the overall miles of the hike when it shows it at the end. So if you watch that Relive video and you see that little straight line, you know what that's all about. Mental error. That wasn't that bad. straight up. My poor wife would be sucking wind. Well, this part gets a little squirrely too. So I'm going to put the camera down for this one. You see where she is, way down. A little sketchy. We'll go this way. And back this way. Oh, rocky goodness. What do you see? Alrighty. As you can see by blazes, that goes way down there. This is that opening climb. I'll see if I can do it with the camera, but I may regret that decision. Lemon squeeze. Then you gotta pick your line. We'll go with this one. Leave it. Kind of off trail a bit. George decided to go tracking something. Here she is. There we go. Oop. Here we go. Just meandering through the woods now. Nice little stroll as we make our way back to the truck. Should be the last water crossing before we get back. Here we go. Nice hiking on a Monday. Had to burn my last PTO. 4 days left to work. And then retiring. Yeah, we did the math. You know, that and I don't want to do my job anymore. Burnt out. Look at that. We made it all in one piece. She's like, let me in. That's a wrap. I can get a little warm out. So, according to my app, it said 7.6 miles. We'll find out. I don't have service here to finish it, so still a good day. Got out before noon, and I'll go maybe soak my foot and think about what gear I want to bring. Thanks for watching.